Hello, good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum. Today is Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday. Sorry, I don't even know what today is. I don't know what today is. I believe it's the 9th. I am just waking up. I didn't know what today is. I just want to share some thoughts that came to mind. I want to share some thoughts that came to mind. I didn't plan to do a live video or anything. I want to do a brief because I captured these thoughts and I just want to share them. And the thoughts are this beautiful summer weather. I was just browsing the internet, Facebook, and I saw the case of 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏 against the state. And my mind kept wandering. I did a program about it. But something profound just hit me now. And what hit me now is, which it's not like a dilemma for that matter. It's a moment of that dilemma. But for myself, I've already made up my mind. What do we sacrifice for? What do we sacrifice for? What do I mean? What do we sacrifice for? Like, when people say that I'll sacrifice for my country, I'll fight for my country, what does that mean? I know that there are many people that do say this, Gambia Jaroko. Many people say this, Gambia Jaroko. And at that moment, or at that, with their opinion, they might be right to an extent. And they do give you evidence. They will tell you, look at the life of that person. Look at the life of that person, what they sacrificed for country. And where did they end up? They'll give you an example and tell you, where did they end up? What did the country did for them? What did the people did for them? Did society appreciate them? Do we even remember them? And when they do that, for myself, I said, this is my position. What I do, I am not doing it to satisfy any individual. What I do, I am not doing it to satisfy society for that matter. What I do, I am doing it to satisfy myself, my consent that I can go to bed and sleep. And when I live here, my family, my children, the other generation to come, they can lift their heads and work. If it is only the behavior of their father or their uncle or their brother or who it is, they can lift their heads. This is my position. Now, let me come to this, and I'll do these clarifications again. I am in solidarity with 𝒂𝒄𝒏 for the simple fact for social justice. First, simple fact for social justice. Regardless of who 𝒂𝒄𝒏 was, when a case arises, I look at the public good. I look at the greater good, and that's where I try and position myself where the greater good is. Regardless of the tribe of the person, I don't see all that. Regardless whether it's a foreigner, what religion it belongs to, whatever, whether even I don't like them. I don't care. I might even not like the person, but I will fight for that person. Because of fighting for that person means that I am fighting for the people coming. And this is why I want to share this. Because what individual experience or what we allow individuals to go through, that's the precedence that will happen. And that's our collective behavior, our collective contribution would end up to be the general outcome. Then we should be very careful when we look at cases, let us not look at the case isolatedly. Oh, it's 𝒂𝒊𝒏. After 𝒂𝒊𝒏 will be someone else. Or it's Yanks. After Yanks will be someone else. The other reason I'm in solidarity with Yanks, apart from the right thing to do, being fighting for social justice. I know Yanks. I know Yanks personally. I've met Yanks many times. I spoke to Yanks many times. And I know Yanks through what? Working towards the public good. When I know Yanks and working with Yanks, it was not on a UDP platform. It was not for UDP agenda. In fact, when I knew Yanks, at that time, some UDP would be pushing Yanks away because they see him as very militant. Because what Yanks stood for, Yanks was completely dedicated and sacrificing to get rid of the dictator. He was committed. He was committed. I can remember Yanks was one of the few UDP guys when 𝒂𝒊𝒏 even came and positioned himself to say that he want to be form a government in exile. Yanks was one of the people that joined 𝒂𝒊𝒏, which means that he will have to distance himself from UDP platform because he's going to for an extreme activism. I know Yanks is someone who will follow his heart. I did a lot with Yanks in the struggle. And because I will say this again. Yanks approached me. We know of each other. We know of each other. And once I approached him, when I approached him, it was, I spoke to him separately. Yanks, Suntu Ture, Bambamas, Silla, Minister Silla, Ibrahim Silla. When then Ibrahim Silla was in Ghana. And the reason I contacted them separately, it was to bring them together, to talk to them and give them advice about something I saw looming, which was of a security threat. This was the reason I contacted them. Unfortunately, we did not have time to have that meeting, because the reason I contacted Ibrahim Silla was kind of be a witness to what I was discussing, because I did tell him I have contacted these people within the UDP and I want to invite them and sit with them and develop an approach, because I think it's necessary to do that. This is why then, after so many months, in 2016 itself, probably around before the coalition came together, before the convention. This was August itself, late August. Yanks approached me. And Yanks always called me chief. Up to today, he called me chief. He doesn't call me by name or anything. He called me chief. He said to me, chief, he's a very respectful person. If you hear Yanks advocating and everything else, yes, he's vibrant. But I'll tell you one-to-one, Yanks is very respectable person. Yanks approached me, contacted me, and said to me, chief, I was directed to speak to you. It was a security matter, and it was something to do within Senegal. And he said, I was directed to speak to you, that you are the person to come to in order to facilitate this. And at that time, Yanks has access to lots of money. He had already someone who have access to a lot of money. Yanks said to me, we have the money, we have this. And he wanted my advice and he wanted my facilitation. I said to Yanks, Ibrahim Chongan will be my witness. I said to Yanks, there is something working on. I said to Yanks, there is something working on. And I said, I cannot give you details of things working on, but I can tell you it's to support a very, very, very democratic nature. It's to support a very, very democratic nature. In a sense that we believe that if we pursue this together, we will bring about the change that you want, that will cost less, and technically the risk would be managed. But I cannot tell you. But what I can say is go and contact Ibrahim Chongan. I said to him, because my role is directing operations, and Ibrahim Chongan will be his person to talk to in this thing. If you approach Ibrahim Chongan and take it from there, and Yanks did that. Yanks went and approached Ibrahim Chongan. That's where we developed a working relationship with Yanks. And he have never, not once, hear anything that we have done together that Yanks have said to anyone. Apart from us giving him the go-ahead, yes, we can do that, we can do that. I can tell you this. That's how much, because he was like Yanks became like a contact person within the UDP. Because we were trying to get, because we have a contact person within PDOIS, we have contact person within different political parties and entities. Yanks was the latter part, Yanks became our contact person. And I can remember during the campaign, the coalition campaign, whenever we strategize, we'll get Yanks in. And Yanks will take this thing to, okay, and he'll tell us, okay, my party is around this place, OJ is around that place, this person is around that place, let's send the message. We were 24/7 in a combat. Organizing communities, organizing communities, different communities, reaching out and telling Yanks, let's get the coalition there, let's get some of the coalition members to divert, to move there. When we did a risk assessment for the phony and everything else, we said to Yanks, we have to put it to these people. We have already won. Let them even avoid the phony. Because Yaya is really panicking now. And we had a strategy, and that's how we did with the phony. Time factor, I said, with time, we have to get to the combo. There are so many instrumental decisions that Yanks have represented. Apart from the finance. Yanks have been crucial in financing the struggle so many ways. But his time and so on. During the period, I know Yanks of before the 2016 elections. I knew Yanks 2 years, I think, before the elections. The amount of Gambians that Yanks have supported, pro bono, they paid him a little, apart from the cost of processing their applications, immigration applications. Yanks dedicated himself and supported a lot of Gambians for their immigration status. I referred a lot of Gambians. I can simply remember 10, and all 10 of them, I can remember, none of them came back to me and gave me a bad feedback from Yanks. 10 who are not, probably 1 or 2, 3 will be politically active. The rest don't even bother about Gambian politics. But Yanks did not care. He supported them. And during the same process, Yanks was within another group I share with him, UK Gambia. UK Gambia is another civil society group that came together because of the 2016 elections and the transition. Yanks was instrumental there, giving legal advice, attending meetings, sharing his ideas and everything. But I can tell you one thing, just to show how instrumental Yanks was. The day the day Yaya Jammeh considered defeat, the moment Yaya Jammeh considered defeat, because I was waiting to hear the concede of defeat, because we got the information hours before that Yaya Jammeh is going to concede, which I could not believe. For the simple reason, our assessment, our risk assessment, and every assessment, we knew that Yaya Jammeh would have to be forced out of State House. We never believed, and it's a common sense that dictators don't walk away. We never believed that Yaya Jammeh would concede defeat and walk away and hand over government. No, we already have a contingency plan in place to deal with the eventuality of Yaya Jammeh refusing to leave State House. And I can tell you, during that process of applying the contingency plan, 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏 was very instrumental, because we had to do what was to undermine the strength of Jammeh. How did we undermine the strength of Jammeh? Bakau Barracks, Yundum Barracks, State House. They were bases that we technically took over from Jammeh without him knowing. We were already talking to instrumental people and a large amount of these things and starting to control before the elections. Yanks was instrumental in that. But you know, just to show you, we were kind of operating in a very, very, very secure kind of cells. And to know that Yanks have dedicated himself and contributed much. Because Yanks did not know at that time there were 2 senior Gambian officers that we already had under our control, because we were very careful. Even though we trust each other and anything, we were very careful what we let the other people know. We just make sure we keep it in different cells of communication. Generally, we can communicate. When Yanks come and said to us, or this person at that person, and I can give you another reference. There is someone called Captain Gassama, former ADC to the president, who would vouch this about Yanks and what was going on. Captain Gassama knows this. When Yanks said to me, oh, this person at that person said it's okay, they will take care of anything coming from Kanilai, from Yundum Barracks. These people, they take care of anything from Kanilai. These people from Baka will take care of anything going to Banjul. And he said to us, can we try and get hold of a third person he did not know that we already got hold of? Because of the other person told them that that third person would be the best person to take care of the airport. Because we were not relying to wait for other people to come and help us. It was the last resort. We have to make sure Yaya Jammeh is contained. The minute he told me, can we try and get this major for the airport? I said to him, bro, you are really working. No, we already got that. And I said, yes, he is in position, and if necessary, he will take, he will do that. That's how much Yanks did. But finally, the day Yaya Jammeh conceded, I could not believe it. I said, no, there's something wrong. Yaya Jammeh came, they said to me, Yaya Jammeh will concede. I said, no. Yaya Jammeh will not concede. I said, no, Yaya Jammeh will not concede. And I explained obvious reasons why I think a dictator will not walk away. No. That's why Macky Sall did not want to walk away. Macky Sall will want to guarantee everything behind him. And Yanks, and we listened, I think it was afternoon. And I watched Yaya Jammeh, because I know Yaya Jammeh personally. I know Yaya Jammeh personally. Well before, this. I can tell a lot about him. But again, my background, my training have given me the experience to analyze certain things and profile people. When Yaya Jammeh did this thing and started to emphasize how much he believed in the electoral process. This is Rick rig proof and everything else, which I know he knows is a lie. Yaya Jammeh did not believe that. He knows that he rigged the elections all the time. This is rig proof. And I said, my mind is, why is he trying to reassure Gambians that he is conceding? No, even democratic elected presidents or defeated presidents don't go to that extent to justify their conceding defeat. One, I picked up one. I said, no, something not right. Something not right here. And when Jammeh did that call and talk about security, and I know people are still using that quote, Yaya Jammeh said he care about security. People are using that quote, Yaya Jammeh wahon nakode, Yaya Jammeh don't care about security. You just don't know. No. Yaya Jammeh was putting that was the fault line. Yaya Jammeh dropped that. It was messaging a fault line, and he was going to follow the fault line. If you listen to Macky Sall all the time, Macky Sall would drop a fault line. I don't want to, but people that follow Senegalese politics will know this. When Macky Sall went to Touba and when he talked about everything and talked about security, when security, it was preparing for what he was wanting to do. I knew Yaya Jammeh wanted to do something. This is not a conceded defeat, and I knew why Yaya Jammeh conceded defeat. Because night before conceding defeat, Yaya Jammeh did try to rally the troops. That's why I said. But Yaya Jammeh got the information that, no, the loyalty of these people are questionable. Then what the Yaya Jammeh did was try to lure in the coalition to be complacent and for him to later lift things that, to that level. So that he will negotiate, escalate it, and whilst this escalating it, he will lift it, escalate it so that he can have a negotiating power. So a capital to negotiate with, a leverage, and to bring it down. The minute I watch Yaya Jammeh concede, I said no, something was not right. This and if you watch the video still, at the last minute, Yaya Jammeh made a smack with his face. I'm sort of like, wait until I get you guys. Wait until I get you guys. Then I knew something needed to be done. Ibrahim Chongan can be the witness again. I called Ibrahim Chongan. I said to him, did you watch this thing? He said, he said, no, yeah. Oh, the concede. I said, no. I said, watch it again. And I said, I think we should start to do something. And he said to me, he gave me the go-ahead he said, okay, you can call Senegal and alert them. I called the liaison officer who was between us and Macky Sall. I called the liaison officer and said to him, did you guys watch this concede? And he said, yes. I said, Yaya, it's not conceded. I said, Yaya is going to spring something on us. Ibrahim Chongan would be my witness. I said, Yaya would spring something on us. And when I said it to the guy, but he said to me, give me a minute, let me call you back. The guy went and called back. And he said, yes, we watch it again. And, because what I gave him pointers, I said, what you said, it does make sense. Why Yaya would just walk away? How can Yaya cannot just walk away when he cannot guarantee his security? Yaya did not expect to lose these elections. With that instruction, he said to me, can you guys make what's his name? Macky Sall to speak to. Can you guys make Macky Sall to speak to this guy? To Barrow. And disappointingly, you see, that bit, we left it. Because there's someone very senior executive of the coalition, I'm not going to name her, who went and who traveled to Dakar, who came back and said to the coalition council or government that he have arranged everything. This was before the elections. We thought, let us not duplicate our efforts. Let's just leave that for the politicians to do. But when that part, when this guy said that Macky Sall to speak to Barrow, I said, to hell. These people did not work that out. At that time, the coalition were celebrating. I said, yes, we can get Barrow's number. Do you know who I thought about? Yankuba Dabo. I called Yankuba Dabo, and I said, Yanks, we need Barrow's number. I said to him, this is going on. I said, I have to get Senegal to be on standby. But Jammeh is gonna, raise something here. And yes, we have something contingent, this thing, but I'll tell you, we have to be on standby. Senegal have to be on standby. If not, Jammeh is gonna take us to civil war. Jammeh will take us to civil war, to build a leverage which we want to avoid. We have to get things done. And he said to me, wait, Chief, let me speak to Lamin Cham. But what he did, later I understand, he could not get Lamin Cham, he called Bamba Mas. He asked Bamba Mas to try and get Barrow's number because of, we want to contact Barrow, connect Barrow with Macky Sall. Bamba Mas had made these comments before somehow. Then, during that period, waiting for the number to come through, there is a Koto, a brother of us, who was very instrumental in the struggle behind the scenes, who introduced us then with Professor Ja. Professor Ja was a presidential advisor to Macky Sall. Professor Ja was a mentor to Macky Sall because he had lectured Macky Sall at university. Then this Koto lives in Seattle. He's from Banjul. The Koto called us. His name is Baboucarr Cham. He lives in Seattle. People know Baboucarr Cham. Lamin Kana, his uncle. Baboucarr Cham, just to show you that Baboucarr Cham called me actually, out of respect, because he called my house line. He normally called my house line. I said to my wife that, he said, is Koto Baboucarr. Out of respect, I have to take the call because I was so busy, but out of respect, it's Baboucarr. I said to him, Koto, nala call, but I'm busy. He said to me, wait, lumala oye mogina important. When he said that, and he said that Metaja, he calls him Metaja. Metaja wants you to try and connect Macky Sall to Barrow. Then I thought that probably our contacts that Macky has taken advice from Meta, this thing, and now Meta is trying to show us that we have to do a shift, that he's aware. Within that period, waiting for the numbers to come, that's when I thought about, look, actually, there's already someone we detail who is following Barrow, following Barrow, for Barrow security. I called that person. I said to him, where are you? And the person said to me, it's a woman, ne mangi bu buntiker Barrow. Ma ajiyam. Buntiker Barrow or wherever Barrow was, whether Buntiker or at Ajiyam, but like she was at Ajiyam Seka. I said to her, Dimbalenu, then sohla number Barrow, makilaf ko sohla. When I got that number, at that time, I'll say this. I heard Panyai Girigara is going around to say that he connected this thing. It's not true. Let me make that true. This is what actually transpired. The liaison officer in Dakar, when I gave the liaison officer in Dakar, called him back and gave him Barrow's number from this lady who took the number from the lady who took the number from Barrow through Ajiyam Seka. Then the liaison officer asked me Panjai's Girigara's number again. He said, "Me, na yangi ame gra Panjai number." It was through this that Panjai learned about what was going on. This liaison officer in Senegal told Panjai, "Oh, in fact, ye bahna sa me nyugi ni di bu jokkale Barrow at Macky Sall." This is how Panjai knew about it. How Panjai knew. He did not. Yanks Dabo played an instrumental role for that to happen. That's just to show how much. And it continued. It continued through the impasse. Continued through the impasse, talking to soldiers' family. We were not only talking to soldiers, we are going through their families. We call their mothers, we call their wives to tell them we don't want bloodshed. You guys have to, when the night comes, you have to abandon Barrow. This is why that night happened. You see troops going to hand over themselves to Senegal. Senegal knew when they were coming, there was no threat actually. There was no threat at all. ECOMOG knows that there was no threat. There's so much have been done behind the scenes, and young play a part. Now, that's a bit just to explain my contact with youngs and thinking about now. Thinking about this now, how much all this happened. Now, that's youngs. I am not supporting youngs' utterance or anything, but it's an utterance youngs had apologized for already. We are all humans. And youngs talk, he didn't talk out of hate, he talked out of person, his emotions. It's not a prejudice or anything. This is someone who fought for Barrow to be in government. It's someone who fought for Barrow to be in government. I'll come to that. Now, and again, youngs was been victimized. The 3 years judgment was a legitimate movement, registered. The 3 years judgment went and negotiated with government, and government gave them a permit to exercise their constitutional rights. Their constitutional rights. And in the process of it, the government in fact did something illegal and suppressed suppress the fundamental human rights of these people to demonstrate, and in fact, attack them. And through that process, they went to the court. And people can remember, I came out and explained everything how it happened. That video is the most watched video. It's in the last time I checked was about 25,000 or something like that. I explained how everything happened, and that was part of why the prosecution cannot go through. Because I all the behind the scenes, how much technically the money they spend even to get those young guys from this thing, how to disrupt and everything else. They dropped the courts dropped the case. And next minute the police went and harassed them again by arresting them. And it was during this process Young said what he said. Hey, we are all humans, especially a young person who have passion. Youngs did not sit down just and pick up his phone and went and insult Barrow or insult the justice system. Youngs did not know. He did not do it out of spite or anything. It was out of frustration. Why would we victimize that young man? Why would we victimize that young man that did so much for Barrow to be in government, so much for our Gambia to have democracy? Yes, he fought without even UDP, but this guy was an active activist. Without UDP platform, I can tell you that. Without UDP platform, you might not like him. And I tell you, the minute UDP went to government, the coalition went to government 3 months, my views are completely contrary from Young's view. My views were contrary from Young's view. But we respect each other. He did not block me. I did not block him. He never come onto my page to this thing. That's how respect we have to each other. We have different views. But that's not stop. That's what politics is about. Now, imagine this. Now, Young's Dabo, he did everything. Now, why Barrow did not go and prosecute Sidi Njai? Why Barrow did not go and prosecute Fabakary Tombong. Is it just about justice? What Sidi Njai did, what Fabakary did, leader of the leader of the house or whatever you call them. But you would want to tell me that Barrow is more annoyed or more offended by what Young said to him than what Sidinjai did, what Fabaketomo did. Today he have elevated these people to a level that these people will never have dreamt of. I can tell you that if Jammeh was still in power, Sidinjai would not have in the position he is. Sidinjai only become minister because there's no else to serve as a minister. Sidinjai would not have been a deputy speaker or to have the power, influence he have in that country. Then Barrow have compensated these people that did not want him to be there, and now he's punishing someone. That's what I said. What's in my mind? This is what came to my mind. This is what came to my mind. But I can say, I said to you, look, 𝒂𝒏 would not fight because of, or thinking, I have to be recognized. Oh, no, not. It's for my conscience. It's for my family. It's from, whether the public or the Gambian people would appreciate it or not, no. That's for the Gambian people. 𝒂𝒏 does what is for him, try to do it best for the Gambian people. Whether the Gambian people appreciate it or not, that's not me. That's why I don't walk away. That's why when people say, yo, look, no, or people surprised. People surprised because of it's a Gambian thing. Lo sona rek dang si buga dara, dang buga plus, dang si yang si amhalis, dang si buga daraja, dang si buga li. But I tell you one thing, Gambia, let's learn from this. Let's learn from this. Commander 𝒘𝒂𝒃𝒄𝒆𝒔, Commander 𝒘𝒂𝒃𝒃𝒄𝒆𝒔 was harassed before he died under Jawara's regime. Commander 𝒘𝒂𝒃𝒃𝒄𝒆𝒔 and others already knew that there was likely an insurgency or a rebellion, and they were fighting to put this down. I can remember an uncle of mine. 𝒘𝒂𝒃𝒃𝒄𝒆𝒔 was looking up to my father like a father. I don't want to go into the family dynamics, just to tell you. But one of my uncles, in fact, there was this case that 𝒘𝒂𝒃𝒃𝒄𝒆𝒔 had to go to the police. Yes, he was a police commander, but this incident, he had to go to the police. And my uncle called him and said to be careful of this guy, if not, he will kill you. The eyes that he is looking at you, he will kill you. Gambia was tense. Gambia was tense. 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏, that's why 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏 was a victim. And I can tell you, Kukoy Samba Sanyang did not originally organize this coup. So many. And some of those people were part of Jawara's cycle. Part of those people were part of Jawara's cycle. But these people who dedicated themselves, 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏 was killed. If you know, people from Baka will tell you where 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏's family end up in 𝒘𝒂𝒃𝒃, the last compound in 𝒘𝒃𝒃, where it floods and everything. And these people were a middle-class family. 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏 was a middle-class family. I remember he had, 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏 loved the country so much. One of his son's name was Gambia Mahoney. I don't know where he is. I remember the name Gambia Mahoney. 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏 family end up in 𝒘𝒃𝒃 for so many years before they get themselves out of there, after giving their life for Gambia to protect the Jawara government. 𝒘𝒂𝒃𝒃𝒄𝒏 refused to hand over the keys to the armory so that these people will have access to the armory and depose the Jawara government. 𝒘𝒂𝒃𝒃𝒄𝒏 was shot in at the front of his compound in Bakau. I saw the body as a child. Because the minute we woke up, had this thing, and everybody room, 𝒘𝒂𝒃𝒃𝒄𝒏 was killed, we ran, and the body was still there. The children of 𝒘𝒂𝒃𝒃 saw their father being killed. You think of that trauma and everything? I tell you, if the family of 𝒘𝒂𝒃𝒃 did not hold together, it's not Gambia government. It's not Gambians. Today, you don't even hear the name 𝒘𝒂𝒃𝒃. I know if you hear 𝒘𝒂𝒃𝒃, most young people would think, who is 𝒘𝒂𝒃𝒃? They would think it's a name, foreign name, in fact. But a son of Basse. One of the few educated people that went and joined the field force at that time to serve. A son of Basse. Do we remember 𝒘𝒂𝒃𝒃? Do we remember 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏? No. When the 81 continued, The first person who resisted and made sure there is resistance in Banjul was Sergeant Ousmane Diallo. He's an uncle of mine. Sergeant Ousmane Diallo resisted. He retired as a field force. He was in the Gambia army. He went to Second World War and joined the came back and ended up being the field force and retired pensions as a field force or an old person. And he was a security guard at the central bank. When they came to access the central bank, he refused. He disarmed the people and carried on. When he went to the police station in Banjul to report the incident, he already saw when 𝒘𝒘𝒃𝒆 was killed, he saw 𝒘𝒃𝒃𝒆's thing, but he decided to go to Banjul to go to work. Because he knew that he had to be at work. It's a central bank, and probably when the bank is open, he can come for the burial. He was the same person who have advised 𝒘𝒃𝒃𝒆, be careful. I'm not going to say the person he told to be careful of, but it is reported that's the person that killed him. That's the person that killed him. He was at the central bank. He went to the police station. Inspector Mbub and others were there. He came to report what have happened. They said to him, Nako uncle. They called him uncle. And he said, Lola Nadef, what are you guys doing? I can tell you that minute, Inspector General Mbub and others did not know what they were doing. Gambia history needs to be told. He said to them, let's resist. Let's resist. Today you don't hear that person's name, Sergeant Ousmane Diallo. That's how the resistance started. The police came and started to barricade the area. He asked them, where is the vice president? That's how they went for the vice president. They start to go for the ministers. Today you don't hear Sergeant Ousmane Diallo. And there's another sergeant who was active in service called Wagan Faye. Wagan Faye was in depot when depot was attacked in the morning. Wagan thought quickly and decided to jump the fence and went to the Senegalese embassy. Embassy residence. Senegalese embassy residence was at Fajara, opposite Fajara Hotel, Kasorina nightclub for that matter, or now the vice president resident. That's where, that Johnson there, that's where Senegalese ambassador was residing. Wagan, I think it's Wagan, yeah, Wagan Faye. Wagan said, Sergeant Wagan Faye said to the Senegalese ambassador, our camp have been attacked. Because these things were anticipated. When the day 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒆𝒔 was to be buried, the Senegalese troops were in Gambia. They were in Bakau. Before 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒆𝒔 was the thing, the UK, the British Gurkhas, British soldiers were in Bakau. After, when things calmed down, they left. Then 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒆𝒔 got killed. During the burial, the Senegalese troops were there. The Senegalese left, British soldiers came back twice. British soldiers made their presence in the Gambia twice to avert this coup, this rebellion. Senegalese intervened, they came on the thing to avert this rebellion. And this is why it informs Sergeant Wagan to go and this is why the Senegalese ambassador drove with this thing and went to his embassy in Banjul. Then the Senegal embassy was in Banjul. American embassy was in Banjul. All the embassies were in Banjul. And through this is how they're able to communicate to Senegal. Through that line at the embassy. The police officers resisted and protected an area. And this is what gave legitimacy to Jawara to say that there's a resistance support. Modou Ndiaye, he was Inspector Modou Ndiaye. The brother of Ndaw Ndiaye was stationed in Farafenni. Modou Ndiaye, with a platoon of men, took a boat from Farafenni and landed at Denton Bridge. And they maneuvered their way and came, and when they heard about the resistance, they came and joined the resistance in Banjul. Again, do you hear Captain Modou Ndiaye's name in the Gambian history? Do you hear Sergeant Ousmane Diallo in the Gambian history? Do you hear Wagan Faye in Gambian history? But let me tell you another person. Hassan Musa Kamara, who was the then vice president. who was serving vice president for the second time. He have served for the first time and then replaced by Binjai, and he came back and served for the second time. Asa Kamara is here. That's Asa Kamara. Go and get this book. Asa Kamara loyally stood. It's because of he stood as the acting president and ensured that Jawara was returned to the Gambia. Today, do you hear Asa Kamara? Even after that, when the Gambia went into dictatorship, he was one of the elderly politicians, elegantly keep the opposition together. What did we pay? Did we hear Asa Kamara in our history? And what happened to Asa? When the minute Jawara came back and positioned himself, Jawara was put into this pettiness to say that Asa have supported a candidate, Buba Balde. And because of supported Buba Balde, then Jawara had to get rid of Asa with all these years of building the country with Asa disgracing Asa dropping Asa. And we wonder why we have 1994. And Gambians expect anybody to die for them for 1994. That's why I said we have to be very careful what we wish for. And finally, just to say this is why I'm saying this. When I have this thought, and Barrow will continue to bring all these people around Barrow were supporting the dictator. They play a part in the dictator. Youngs who have fought, not on party platforms, but fought as an activist and did everything. Now his future want to be destabilized for political reasons. Gambia, this is about building our democracy. We don't have to love Youngs, we don't have to like him, but we have to stand for justice. This is not about justice. This is about victimizing him. We have so many priority cases. That's why it's ridiculous to think of the judicial bill. This is what they are. They are mercenaries, and they will continue to be mercenaries. This is why the executive is sponsoring this bill, so that they can continue to have the legislature as mercenaries, judiciaries as the mercenaries, just as it happened in Senegal. This is how a democratic elected government would money for to become a dictatorship. You don't have to love Youngs, but you have to look at justice. It's not about justice. And in democracy, we need to build it. There's no public interest in prosecuting Youngs. If there was a public interest, then Sidinjai and all the others shouldn't be around the Barrow. What message does this send to Gambians? But I tell Gambians that you don't fight because of you are going to have an immediate benefit. You don't fight because of you are supporting someone's immediate benefit. You fight because of you find yourself to be Gambian. It's not an accident for us to be Gambians. Allah prescribed us to be Gambians. We fight for the Gambia, regardless of who is against or who is for. What we fight is for the interest of the Gambia. Now Youngs, being an activist is growing up, building up maturity to become a mayor. And apart from Barrow, a president, the mayor of BAC would have the biggest mandate for who would elect them. Finally, this is where I want to stop this. And as I said again, Gambians, go and think about this. And don't make this case to be about Youngs, about UDP. Let it be about justice and about building our democracy. Let's remember what we need to fight for. And remember that we create precedents, and these precedents will continue. Remember too, when we fight for the right thing, that's the president that will say. I have named all these people. And if you wonder why we keep on failing, it's because of this. That's why it's easy. I know when some people, their families will tell them, why you keep on fighting? Why you keep on wasting your time on this? I know Gambians who have lost their education in the diaspora here. I know Gambians who have lost their marriages. I have known Gambians who have lost their livelihood in the Gambia because of they hold on to their principles. I have known of Gambians who lost their marriages, they hold on to their principles in the Gambia. I know of Gambians who have lost blood and tears, but we all know Gambians who have been killed. because they hold on to principles to fight for justice. Now, why do we want to encourage this? And for those people who think that this is about UDP, for those people who think that this is about, I don't like Young, he's arrogant or this, you are mistaken. You are mistaken. Thank you very much, guys. This is where this was really bothering me. I have to do this and to take it off my head. But I hope that something will be taken from this video, and that's mainly for those people who think that this is for someone else to deal with. We need to stop Barrow, and because Barrow is going to continue to other people and other things. This is how Macky Sall started, from Karim, these things, and this thing. And just a few days ago, I don't know the lady's name even, but she supports Sonko. They could not hold her for anything. She bought up land for many years. She built a property. Nothing. They cannot prosecute her for nothing. What did they do? They went and falsified ownership of the land, and now just to demolish that land. We have seen that. Gambia, thank you very much. I hope we learn from this.